They swore they had proof. They claimed they could prove Justin Baldoni launched a full-blown smear campaign. But when the court deadline arrived, there was nothing. No screenshots. No messages, no proof. Just empty claims and contradictions. And now the internet is catching on. Radar Online just dropped a bombshell, and it's brutal. Apparently, Ryan Reynolds might be on track to becoming Hollywood's most hated man. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. According to new reports, insiders describe him as controlling, arrogant, and cruel, even to his own wife's employees. Remember Blake Lively's failed lifestyle brand, Preserve? Yeah, insiders now say it wasn't really hers at all. It was Ryan's project, top to bottom. He allegedly ran every decision, mocked the staff, rewrote their work, and then blamed them when the company collapsed. One former team member even said, "God help you if you disagreed with him." Now, those same control issues are bleeding into Blake's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, and it's completely falling apart. When Entertainment News asked her legal team for comment, they confidently claimed they had an overwhelming amount of evidence proving Baldoni had orchestrated a smear campaign. But after full discovery, that evidence doesn't exist. Nothing. Zero. Their new excuse? Deleted signal messages. Messages no one's ever actually seen. So if the evidence was never real, what does that make Blake's case? A desperate PR move. Maybe even a smear campaign in itself. And behind it all, the same man Radar just called Hollywood's biggest manipulator, Ryan Reynolds. Bad press is one thing, but when the entire industry starts whispering that they can't stand you, that's another level. Right now, that's Ryan Reynolds' reality. Radar Online didn't hold back. Their latest headline asked the question everyone's been afraid to say out loud. Is Ryan Reynolds Hollywood's most hated star? And based on recent events, the answer might just be yes. At the Toronto Film Festival, while promoting his John Candy documentary, Ryan was caught on camera snapping at a child. That alone made headlines. But then another clip dropped showing him snapping at actor Eugene Levy. 2 public meltdowns in one weekend. Not exactly Mr. Charming, and here's where it gets even wilder. Multiple insiders claim Ryan hijacked the entire John Candy project. Director Colin Hanks reportedly admitted that Ryan would show up uninvited, bark orders, rewrite scenes, and act like he was in charge. Even John Candy's son accused Reynolds' company, Maximum Effort, of selling merch for the documentary just to cash in on his father's legacy. Control, manipulation, greed. It's a pattern. From hijacking the Candy documentary, to micromanaging Preserve, to taking over the It Ends With Us set. Ryan doesn't collaborate. He dominates. And every time he does, someone else's career burns. The worst part? Blake Lively seems to have learned every one of his tricks. And the moment she stepped onto Justin Baldoni's set, she used them all. Because here's the thing, lying in court is one thing. But lying on camera when the internet never forgets? That's career suicide. A resurfaced radio interview with Blake just blew up online, and it's devastating for her case. In it, she casually brags that producers begged her to remove a Lana Del Rey song from It Ends With Us. Her exact words, "They begged me to take that song out of the movie." They begged me. Let that sink in. If you're the one being begged, you're not the victim. You're the one in control. That clip completely destroys her courtroom narrative, the story that she was powerless, bullied, and controlled by Baldoni. Because it shows the truth. Blake was the one calling the shots. She overruled creative decisions, ignored studio requests, and got her way every single time. So, when her lawyers cry about a smear campaign, remember this: she's been writing her own script from day one, the script of a victim. But the receipts, the interviews, and her own words tell a very different story. And if that wasn't bad enough, her legal team got caught lying, on record. After Blake's deposition leaked, Entertainment News reached out for a statement. Her lawyers confidently said they had overwhelming evidence proving Baldoni's guilt. Except they don't. Discovery's over. Every text, email, and file has been turned in, and still is nothing. Not one shred of proof. Their new excuse? All the evidence was deleted on Signal. Basically, we can't prove anything, but trust us, it used to exist. It's desperate. It's dishonest. And it proves what Baldoni's team has been saying all along. This lawsuit isn't about justice. It's about revenge. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds is out there burning bridges across Hollywood faster than Blake can rebuild them. And as one insider bluntly put it, Ryan Reynolds isn't the lovable guy you see on screen. He's the guy everyone avoids off camera, From snapping at a child, to disrespecting Eugene Levy, to hijacking an entire documentary. The evidence of his behavior is everywhere. The charm is fading. The mask is slipping. And the world is finally seeing who Ryan Reynolds really is. Even worse, John Candy's own son revealed that Ryan's company, Maximum Effort, started selling merchandise tied to the film. They literally tried to profit off a dead man's legacy. Sound familiar? It should, because that's exactly what Ryan and Blake did with It Ends With Us. They walked into Justin Baldoni's project, tried to take over creative control, and when he pushed back, they played the victim. This isn't an isolated mistake, it's a pattern. A pattern of manipulation, control, and calculated reputation destruction. And while Ryan's PR team scrambles to rebuild his crumbling image, Hollywood insiders are whispering the same thing Radar Online already printed. Ryan Reynolds might just be the most despised man in the business. But if you think Ryan and Blake's Hollywood games stop there, you're wrong. Because behind the scenes, they've been using the press to smear Justin Baldoni, all while pretending to be his victims. When the truth doesn't fit your story, you rewrite the story. And that's exactly what Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have been doing for years. Here's how their game works. Leak selective information. I feed gossip sites half-truths. I let your PR team spin it until you look like the hero. It's a classic Hollywood smear tactic, and Blake's camp has been running it since day one. When her lawsuit against Baldoni started to collapse, suddenly, anonymous sources began popping up everywhere. People magazine, News, the Daily Mail, all pushing the same narrative. That Baldoni was retaliating, smearing, or trying to silence Blake. Convenient, right? But there's one big problem. Every one of those leaks traced back to people tied directly to Lively's PR circle. And when News printed her lawyer's now infamous claim of overwhelming evidence, that wasn't journalism. It was damage control. Ryan and Blake have spent years perfecting this formula. He plays the charming husband. She plays the misunderstood victim. And together, they weaponize sympathy. Every bad headline? Blame someone else. Every failed project? Shift the story. But this time, the script isn't working, because Justin Baldoni didn't back down. He didn't play their game. He let the facts speak for themselves. And now, the same outlets that once protected Blake are quietly backing away. Meanwhile, as Blake's reputation sinks, guess who's already working on his next redemption arc? Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood's smiling shark. He smiles for the cameras, cracks a joke, plays the lovable goof, but behind that grin, insiders say the same thing. Ryan Reynolds is a shark. After Radar's bombshell calling him Hollywood's most hated star, Ryan's team went into panic mode. Suddenly, the charm machine kicked in. Funny tweets, Family Man interviews, quirky brand ads, all smoke and mirrors to distract from the truth. Because behind the scenes, no one in Hollywood wants to work with him. Remember that John Candy documentary? Director Colin Hanks admitted that Ryan would show up on set uninvited, interrupt interviews, override creative calls, and force Maximum Effort onto the project. Even John Candy's son confirmed Ryan tried to monetize his father's memory. That's not respect. That's exploitation. And it's the same playbook he used with It Ends With Us. Insert yourself into someone else's project. Take control of the creative direction. Pretend to be the savior when it all falls apart. But the mask is slipping. Hollywood's starting to talk, quietly but clearly. People are tired of Ryan's ego, his control, and his endless PR manipulation. He's the guy who smiles to your face, then rewrites your script the moment you turn around. And Blake? She's learned every move from him. Because while Ryan manipulates Hollywood, Blake's been busy rewriting her own history, one lie at a time. Every time Blake Lively lands in trouble, the story's the same. Something goes wrong, and suddenly she's the victim. When her lifestyle brand Preserve crashed and burned, no one blamed her. They blamed her team. But later, ex-employees revealed the truth. It wasn't their fault. It was Ryan Reynolds running the show. He micromanaged, mocked employees, and rewrote their work, while Blake stood by and let it happen. The company collapsed, and instead of owning it, Blake vanished, crying about online bullying. Then came It Ends With Us. When creative clashes with Baldoni began, Blake didn't take responsibility. She flipped the narrative. Suddenly, Baldoni was the villain. And Blake? The powerless woman being controlled by a man. But then her own interview surfaced, and it exposed everything. She bragged that producers begged her to change the movie's music, and she refused. That's not a victim. That's a person in control. And that's the story Hollywood's finally starting to tell. That single interview changed everything. Because once that clip resurfaced, the narrative Blake built collapsed overnight. She wasn't the silenced actress fighting for her creative voice. She was the voice that silenced everyone else. The producers begged her to remove the Lana Del Rey song, but she refused. She bragged about it on air, unaware that years later, those words would come back to haunt her case. And it's not just one moment. It's a pattern that stretches across her entire career. Every controversy, every misunderstanding, every scandal, Blake Lively finds a way to flip the script. When something goes wrong, she's the one wronged. When she loses control, she claims someone took it from her. It's a carefully rehearsed act, and for years it worked. But the internet doesn't forget. When her deposition leaked and reporters pressed her legal team for evidence of Justin Baldoni's alleged smear campaign, they didn't provide proof. They provided a story. They told E! News there was an overwhelming amount of evidence. But when the discovery process ended, that overwhelming evidence amounted to nothing. No messages, no emails, no documents. Just excuses. Their latest one? That everything was conveniently deleted from Signal. Messages no one has ever seen. Proof that supposedly existed, but somehow vanished. It's a strategy straight out of Hollywood crisis management. When you're caught lying, double down. When the facts don't support you, claim the evidence disappeared. And when people start asking questions, leak a new distraction. And that's exactly what happened. As Blake's case unraveled, new anonymous sources suddenly appeared across entertainment media. Articles quietly shifted blame. Baldoni was recast as the aggressor. Blake, once again, the victim. But this time, the audience isn't buying it. Not the journalists. Not the fans. Not even the insiders. Because while Blake's team was planting stories, Justin Baldoni stayed silent. No interviews. No leaks, no PR spin. He let the court documents and the timeline tell the story, and they didn't lie. Now, even the Hollywood trades that once protected Blake are pulling back. Whispers have turned into full-on conversations behind the scenes. Ryan's toxic. Blake's manipulative. They've burned too many bridges. And behind those whispers is one unspoken truth. The Reynolds-Lively PR empire is starting to crack. For years, they've controlled their image with surgical precision. The perfect couple, the witty banter, the social media flirting that sold them as Hollywood's golden pair. But behind that branding, insiders describe chaos. They say Blake and Ryan's marriage runs more like a business partnership, with PR as the product. He manages the deals. She manages the narrative. And together, they control the headlines. Every smiling red carpet moment, planned. Every viral social media joke, scripted. Every cute couple photo, approved in time to bury bad press. But now that machine is breaking down. Radar Online's report didn't just question Ryan's reputation, it opened the floodgates. Suddenly, people who've stayed silent for years are coming forward. Producers, crew members, former employees, all telling eerily similar stories that Ryan Reynolds is a control freak. That Blake Lively is impossible to work with. That the perfect couple image is just that, an image. And here's the part no one saw coming. Hollywood isn't protecting them anymore. Studios that once bent over backward to keep them happy are quietly distancing themselves. Projects that were once guaranteed are now on pause. And behind closed doors, insiders are saying what publicists are too afraid to admit. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have become radioactive. Because no matter how good your PR is, no matter how polished your image looks on Instagram, you can't spin the truth forever. And the truth is catching up to them. The industry's patience has worn thin. Their allies are going quiet. And the internet, the same force that built their fame, is now tearing it apart, one viral clip at a time. Blake's case is collapsing. Ryan's reputation is imploding. And together, they're watching the empire they built on control, manipulation, and performance finally start to crumble. The question now isn't if Hollywood will turn on them. It's how long until they turn on each other. She won. At least that's how it looked in the beginning. But when the truth finally caught up, when the legal case began to crumble, everything changed. Suddenly, her lawyers were shouting, "Smear campaign!" Her PR team flooded the media with sympathy headlines. And her fans? They believed every word. Until the receipts dropped. This isn't just a pattern anymore, and it's a playbook. Every time Blake Lively's image starts to crack, she rewrites the ending and plays the hero in her own movie. But this time the audience isn't buying it. Not when the facts, the interviews, the leaks, and the court filings all point to one undeniable truth. The villain has been the director of her own downfall. And as Blake's empire collapses, one man's quiet strength is starting to stand taller than ever. Justin Baldoni. The same man Hollywood once tried to tear down is now the one standing on top. While Blake cried victim in Ryan spun stories, Justin stayed silent. No interviews. No smear posts. No PR games. Just truth and patience. From the very start, Baldoni refused to play their game. He didn't leak private messages. He didn't trash anyone in the press. He let the court process speak, and it did. Now that discovery is complete, his strategy looks like genius. Because it's Blake's team, not his, that's drowning in contradictions. When reporters reached out for comment after Blake's side claimed to have overwhelming evidence, Baldoni's lawyers said nothing. No rebuttal. No counterattacks. Just silence. Why? Because they knew the truth was already on their side. They didn't need to shout. They just needed to wait. And while the Lively Reynolds PR machine melts down in real time, Baldoni's reputation is quietly rising. Crew members from It Ends With Us have praised his professionalism. Industry insiders call him calm, grounded, and respectful, the complete opposite of the chaos swirling around Blake and Ryan. In a town built on spin, Baldoni did the one thing no one else dared to do. He told the truth, and then he shut up. And now that silence is deafening. Louder than every headline, every excuse, and every fake defense Blake's team can throw together. But make no mistake, this war isn't over. Because as Blake's case falls apart, the next chapter might be her biggest nightmare yet: public accountability. It began as a Hollywood love story. Now it's ending as a Hollywood cautionary tale. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds built their brand on being the perfect golden couple: witty, charming, untouchable. But behind the Instagram filters and carefully staged smiles, there was a storm of ego, control, and manipulation. And for the first time, the mask is cracking. The overwhelming evidence against Baldoni? Gone. The media narrative they planted? Exposed. The victim story Blake sold to the world? Shattered by her own words. This isn't gossip anymore. This is truth. Strip away the PR teams, the fan pages, the spin, and you're left with something simple. Justin Baldoni stood for integrity, while Blake and Ryan played dirty. And now the receipts are catching up to them. Hollywood loves a redemption story, but this time, it's not Blake's to tell. It's Baldoni's. He didn't shout louder. He just stood taller. And now, the world is finally starting to see who the real villains are. If you're tired of fake Hollywood narratives, hit subscribe. If you stand for truth over PR, hit like and drop your thoughts below. Do you think Blake and Ryan will ever face real consequences? Or is this just the beginning of their downfall? Because one thing's for sure, this story isn't over. Not by a long shot. And the more this story unfolds, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just a celebrity feud anymore. It's a reckoning for how Hollywood protects its image makers, even when the mask is slipping. For years, the industry rewarded the Lively Reynolds brand. Picture-perfect couple, flawless PR, every move choreographed for maximum applause. They turned marriage into marketing, humor into headlines, and authenticity into a sales pitch. But what happens when the truth breaks through the filter? When the script flips and the America's Sweethearts narrative turns into something darker, something real? Because right now, it's not just fans asking questions, it's Hollywood insiders too. Producers, publicists, even journalists are whispering about the same thing. Was Blake's empire built on manipulation and control all along? When the leaks dropped, emails, voice notes, behind-the-scenes testimonies, and the tone shifted. Suddenly, the people who once rushed to defend her started backing away. Not because they hate her, but because the pattern is undeniable. She wins sympathy, plays the victim, and then, when the spotlight fades, rewrites the narrative to make herself the savior. But this time, the receipts won't disappear. Screenshots, depositions, timestamps, everything is on record. No amount of clever editing or emotional interviews can rewrite that. And then there's Justin Baldoni, who everyone thought would break first. The pressure, the online hate, the cancel him campaigns, he faced all of it. And yet he didn't flinch. He didn't retaliate. He just kept working, kept showing up, kept letting the truth breathe. And now that restraint is paying off. Because while Blake's empire is cracking under the weight of its own lies, Baldoni's integrity is rebuilding his career, one quiet victory at a time. Behind the scenes, studios are noticing. Executives are calling him a professional's professional. Actors want to work with him. And even critics who once dismissed him are starting to see what he really represents. A rare kind of authenticity in a business that thrives on illusion. But Blake and Ryan? Their empire was built on control. And control only works when people believe in the illusion. Now that illusion is fading. The brand deals are cooling off. The interviews are getting shorter. And the same reporters who once called her Hollywood royalty are quietly changing their tone, because when your PR machine collapses, all that's left is truth. So what happens next? Maybe Blake will try another rebrand. A reflection era, a documentary, a teary tell-all. Or maybe Ryan will double down with his trademark sarcasm, trying to laugh off what the headlines won't ignore. But it won't work. Not anymore. Because once people see the pattern, they don't unsee it. And that's what's happening right now. A generation raised on PR spin is starting to recognize when they're being sold a lie, and they're rejecting it. Hollywood is changing. The audience is smarter. The truth is louder. And for Blake and Ryan, that might be the one storyline they can't rewrite. Because at the end of the day, truth doesn't need marketing. It just needs time. And time finally is on Justin Baldoni's side.